With the release of their debut album 10 in August of 1991, Pearl Jam would shoot straight to the top. With songs like Alive, Even Flow, Black, and Jeremy, 10 would become the band's best-selling album. In fact, the record would go on to sell 13 million copies in the United States. Following their whirlwind success with 10, Pearl Jam would follow that up with their second record, Versus. And again, Pearl Jam tasted more success, with the album debuting at #1 on the Billboard charts and almost selling 1 million copies in just its first week of release. Pearl Jam followed up the highly successful Versus album swiftly in 1994 with Vitalogy, which again proved to be a very successful release for the band. But if you want to go back and check out some of the music videos by Pearl Jam from this era, well, you kinda can't. Yes, the band did release a few videos for 10. For the songs Alive and Even Flow, it was just videos of the band playing live. They did, of course, do a full-fledged video for the song Jeremy, and that video was a huge success for the band, winning multiple awards. And if you want to get technical, the band did create a video for the song Oceans, and that was made after Jeremy, so it was the final video from 10. However, the band thought that 10 had just gotten too big, so the video was only released outside of the United States. And that video for Oceans was done in late 1992. And those videos that Pearl Jam did in 1992 would be the last videos they would do until 1998, when Pearl Jam released the video for Do the Evolution off their Yield album, which is a pretty awesome animated video if you've never checked that one out. So that's no music videos for the albums Versus, Vitalogy, and No Code. Remembering that Versus and Vitalogy were just massive albums and were hugely successful. And to have no music videos being released at all for those records was a big deal at the time. Things had become so big for the band at this point, and all the success they were having and everybody wanting to get their claws into them to do interviews, etc. The band just took a step back and said, no way. If we would have continued at the pace that we were dealing with things on our first and second record, I don't even know if we would still be a band. Bassist Jeff Ament stated that they had to say no to interviews and they had to say no to music videos, so the band could just find themselves again, because for 2 or 3 years there, things got really crazy. The band simply wanted to gain control back to how it was at the beginning before all of the record sales and all of the success happened. And this is where Pearl Jam decided to do things their own way.
MTV is a tremendous thing. You know, it can be a tremendous forum, and you can make films for videos, and I guess that's what we tried to do. I mean, some people consider it, instead of the best video of the year, it could be called the best commercial for your CD. That's not how we see it as art. We didn't want it to interfere with the music. The first two were just live, with live sound, etc. The third one, I mean, we tried to interpret a little bit, and you see what happened. The problem is, if you recall, do you remember the first time you saw that video? Do you still remember?
Yes, I love it.
And maybe it kind of hit you kind of hard, or made you think about something? Because after it was seen 100,000 times, or even the normal viewer saw it 1,000 times, it didn't mean anything anymore. Oh yeah, this is a video where the kid kills himself. Which is exactly why the song was written, to bring it to light, and all of a sudden it was something that we didn't think about anymore. That's the only thing that kind of can upset me about it, and I think that we've talked about how we don't want to be remembered for our videos. You see,
you are also not going to be doing videos right away, at least behind Versus, right?
We just don't know. Our mind is on music right now. We'll record another record, maybe even before we do that. Our mind is on music, which is probably a really good thing for everybody. We'd love to, do things on MTV and just have it kind of be a different form of public access. I don't have MTV. I don't have cable. And so I don't even know. That's how it was at the awards. I just didn't know what it meant, really. And It was a strange form of appreciation I showed, I know. But
yeah.
So Eddie Vedder said it the best, said it the clearest, right there in his own words. We don't want to be remembered for our music videos. They always said when people think of one of our songs, we don't want them to think of a video. We want them to think of the actual song itself and how the video can take away from that. So, back at that time, when they were just starting out, they did things their own way. Now, since, of course, basically from 1998 onwards, the band has made a ton of music videos, right? They're everywhere. Eddie Vedder has made music videos for his solo material, etc., and the band is much more open to doing it now. But it was back in those early days with the release of 10 Verses and Vitalogy in those days, when the band just got so big. They really didn't promote anything, stayed away from the press. And isn't it remarkable, don't you think, if you look at the sales of 10 in the US, 13 million copies sold, versus 7 million in the US, and Vitalogy did 5 million in the US. The band, by doing things their own way and taking back control, that things worked out pretty darn well for them anyway, right? But as I say, once the whole grunge explosion and things had calmed down for the band, a lot more by the late 90s, they were much more open to doing these things. And I say credit where credit's due, and Pearl Jam should be commended for sticking to their guns. And as I say, it worked out pretty darn good for them in the end, right? So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. Be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll catch you next time.